re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And welcome to another life-altering... Oh, wait, no, that's Pickle Scoop's thing. Welcome to another heartwarming, sack-tickling, fun-loving episode. What?
I don't even know if that... The sack tickling, I don't know if that
When you tickle your sack. Has your sack not been tickled lately?
Not really, no. I guess if I walk really quickly in certain pants...
Well, if you want, I'll be in Savannah sometime in the next year.
Oh, I'm good.
We can make sure your sack is tickled.
I'll keep with the corduroy. We're good.
And your heart is cockled. So, welcome to the MHOG Podcast. I am not Wayne.
And I am not Wayne either, at all.
No, none of us are Wayne. Neither of us. Neither. Yeah.
Neither.
In any case, Wayne is not here. He might call in. I don't know. But this is the metal hand of God.
The sickly metal hand of God.
Yes, I can. How obvious is it from my voice? I know I'm very nasal.
No, it's pretty obvious. I mean, it's pretty obviously you're not feeling well.
No, not at all. And we'll get to why in a little bit. But I am Adam.
And I'm the Rum Guy.
And so if you're keeping track, if you're keeping score, as it were, this is supposed to be episode 200, which we recorded.
The crazy episode.
Yeah, which was recorded 3 weeks ago now, I believe.
So.
And if you listen to the last episode, that episode was recorded well after episode 200, and there's an episode that was supposed to be the last episode that might not come out for another week. If
there
at
has
all.
been a plethora of snafus, such as computer meltdown.
Well, not to get on him, but because it was partially my fault, but Wayne didn't check to be sure that I didn't send him that, because I had recorded that episode that was supposed to air and put it in our share folder before I left town, and I couldn't see it, but I had bad reception on my phone, and so poor internet, and I didn't see it, so he kind of took me at my word rather than just checking to make sure the file was there, because it was. So that episode could have aired, and this is really complicated.
Let's stay away from complicated. Let's just say that miscommunication and misplacement of items
Right.
and computer crashing, and just it's the mummy's curse. It has happened. It has struck us. The only thing is we did not find a mummy, but the curse is real. It exists.
Oh, my mummy's around.
Okay, so it's a different mummy, but we'll go with it.
No, actually, you mentioned computer failure. Actually, Wayne's computer has crashed twice in the last week. So he actually had episode 200 finished, which was supposed to air in the place of this one. But it crashed, and so today he was working on it, and it crashed again. So I told him the live episode will now be episode 201, because I didn't want him staying up all night, because we have if this is coming out like literally an hour from now or something like that, we have 2 shows this weekend. One is in Biloxi, Mississippi, or actually Ocean Springs, Mississippi, at the Crooked Letter Brewery. And that's going to be a brewery tour followed by a comedy show. So we got that to go to. And then Saturday night we have a full metal comedy show at Twist of Lime. So I didn't want him staying up all night, screwing with it, and then having like a rough next couple of days. So
Sum it up. No rough screwing. Check.
So, speaking of screw this and screw that, no. So I wanted to start off this episode, this short episode, by the way, folks, because I do have to edit this and put it up tonight.
It's a teaser episode. Yeah,
like, there's a lot of weird innuendos so far. We're only like 2 minutes in. So, moving on. This will be a short episode, but I do want to start by doing a
impersonation.
A Common Sense with Buck Lightning.
Oh, okay. We can do that too.
So this is all unscripted as usual, folks, so kind of bear with me. But Sunday, I got a message from Wayne involving a comedian who was on one of our previous comedy shows, basically going on Facebook and posting a link to the show that's going to be this Saturday, which normally would be a good thing. It would be like, oh, okay, thanks for sharing. Except for this comedian used a troll account, a fake account with a fake name, and it doesn't even have his face on it, so no one knows it's him. And basically
very creative, by the way. Very creative.
Right. So this guy basically he posts a link to it and then says, hey, this show will suck. You should go see how bad it sucks. Essentially just like kind of bashing our show.
Well, no, I don't even feel bad about bashing us. I feel kind of shitty that he would do that to fellow comedians.
Well, let me get all this out, and because I do want your reaction, but let me sort of get it out. But basically, this guy bashed our show, and I'm not going to name him because, well, first of all, he doesn't listen to our show. I'm sure. I'm sure he does. And if anyone does and wants to mention to him that I said this, go right ahead, because I'm going to very quickly, as this is Common Sense with Buck Lightning, I'm going to get to an actual point sooner or later. So this guy bashed our show, and Wayne sent me a message telling me about it. And I won't lie, I got very upset. I was traveling that day, and there was really nothing I could do about it. I mentioned many times that Wayne and I don't get anything from these shows. 9 times out of 10, we don't take a cut. And we've only done like a dozen of these shows, so do the math. And the few times we have taken a cut, it's been like $5 a piece. We try to give all our money to the talent. We don't get anything from it other than trying to help build a comedy scene, outside of just Central New Orleans, and meeting very talented, very funny people, which I'm happy to do.
Sure.
So it's especially hurtful, but whatever. I've also, by the way, just want to mention really quick, I've been told that this doesn't have anything to do with us specifically, that it's another comedian, Eric Hollerback, is on the show this Saturday. And anyone who's listened to the show, the episode that Eric Hollerback was on, Eric Hollerback got into some trouble on his podcast. He's apologized for it like dozens of times. Like he's never stopped apologizing. And so whatever it is, that's fine. But the guy did bash our show, and there are other people besides Eric on it. So I'll just take it as being you just generally don't like any of us. So whatever, that's fine. So I was upset for about an hour, and I happened to be on the road with my little 3-month-old niece, and she giggled, and I looked down at her, and I kind of forgot about it. So to the person who bashed our show, and whose, I guess, goal was to upset people and rile us up, from a very cowardly position of not even using his real name, or or just a position of pretending to be someone else. Congratulations, you managed to upset me for an hour, and then I moved on with my life. And in thinking about all that, I came to sort of a conclusion. Not long ago, we were talking to a local newspaper that was going to interview us, and might still. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. And he asked us, how would you sum up the Metal Hand of God podcast? And I said, well, we build things. We build communities, we build shows, we build things.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, we kind of do. We try to. I mean, that's our goal, and I think that's it's an important thing. It's become more than I think what we intentionally started out with. But I think we've the idea of what we wanted to accomplish grew. So therefore, the whole idea of it has grown, and I think it's grown in a positive way.
Right. So I sort of latched on to that idea that we build things. And I want to tell whoever it is out there that dislikes us, and it doesn't have to be that guy, it can be anybody. I'm sure there's other people out there that don't like us.
Yeah, there's like 2, I think. And I know where they live, so I'm just letting you know that, come on.
That the Rum Guy bashes people's heads in diners or IHOPs.
It's IHOPs, yeah.
If you're out there and you don't like us, if you want to like go online and bash us, bash our show, go ahead and do it. Like, honestly, we could use the publicity. I'm fine with that. It makes me kind of sad that there are people out there doing that. I do think that if there's one thing, let me rephrase that. People who spend their lives tearing things apart and, going there and like bashing other people's creative endeavors rather than focusing on their own, who's the loser there? Like, okay, you bashed our show, you bashed us, whatever. We're going to move on with our lives. We're not going to spend that much time worrying about you.
Going to be sitting there angry is all they're going to be doing.
Yeah, well, people that do that don't really go anywhere in life.
No, they don't.
Like, it's think about every person who's ever done you wrong. Like, the person who...
Where do I start?
Who stole from you, the person who is looking at taking things from others, whatever it is. They're spending a lot of time trying to make $1 instead of like trying to build things. Like, they're trying to scam other people. They're trying to take things from other people. I'm not phrasing this very well, but
it's all about what you create in life. It's not by, you tear things down. There's nothing. If you create something, you're doing something with your life, in one aspect or another. It doesn't have to be an amazing life-altering change for the entire world, but you're doing something. You're being productive. Anti-productivity is just, it's stupid.
Well, I always say that tearing things down diminishes you. Like, when you see somebody online and they're starting, that was my whole thing, was like, my first instinct was to go start Facebook drama with that guy, and and then I was like, no, we should just go to his show. Like, we should just show up and be like, hey man, what's up? And then I realized that's stupid. That's pointless. Like,
it's complete opposite of what we had talked about in a couple shows prior to. Is if somebody's trying to start a problem, the best thing to do, especially I think we were referring to things like social media. The best thing to do is to not give it any credence. Just ignore it. It'll go away.
Well, more than that, I don't want to waste my time. Like that's wasteful.
It is wasteful.
And it diminishes me as a person to get involved with that, to tear things down.
Yeah, I got better things to do with my time. I'm sure you do too.
So to everybody out there who doesn't like us, that's fine. You can try to destroy us. You can try to tear us down. I'm going to keep building things. I will build to the sky. And
your new nickname's Builder Bob.
Thanks for pissing all over my point, Rum, but okay. But that's my common sense with Buck Lightning. Build something.
Do it.
If you want to, like, you can screw around, you can destroy things, you can sit on Facebook and complain about politics or somebody you don't like at work. Or you can spend that time trying to build something, either like relationships or art or whatever it is. And I promise you, the building something is the much worthier endeavor. So that's my common sense with Buck Lightning.
Hear, hear. Awesome.
I should probably write these things out.
Yeah. And it's there, it's done, it's gone, and now we move past it. So.
All right.
There we go. So how was your trip? I wanted to ask you.
Well, up until I got home, it was great.
Well, that's the thing with trips. You usually want to go on them, and then you have to come home.
It was a travel-heavy vacation. Thursday, Wayne was going to take me to the airport Thursday morning. My flight was for 10:30, so I was like, can you pick me up around 9:15? We'll get there for 9:30. I'll have a full hour, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, sure. So I spoke to Rebecca, the girl I was traveling with, who's the mother of the little girl I call my niece. Mm-hmm. And she's not really my niece. I'm a fake uncle, but I'm her favorite uncle, so it's okay. And I said, do you need any help with the baby? Do you need me to get there at the same time as you? And she said, yeah, that would be great. And I was like, okay, well, what time do you need me to be there? And she was like, oh, I'm looking to get there for 8:30. And I was like, oh, great. Yeah.
Why did you even offer?
Well, no, I was fine with it, but she writes, I'll probably be late though. And I thought, that's not helpful. That's not helpful. So I told Wayne, don't worry about it. My mom dropped me off I got there at 8:30. And I was probably out there for an hour waiting on her.
Yep.
And I thought, yeah, that's about right. But, it is what it is. And she's got a fairly new baby, so I understand. Things happen. So, we flew out to the Atlanta airport, which I'd never been to. I'd been to Atlanta, but I'd never flown there. And,
jacked up.
Yeah, it's not a great airport. And it's funny because I had two separate experiences, one going out and one coming in. And, on the way out, because her husband Josh, who's, I don't think he's been on this show. He's been on Radio DCP. Yeah, he was on Radio DCP. Right. He was picking us up. He was driving up from Orlando. And, so we had, she had 2 carry-on bags, and she had some stuff, and I had some stuff that we had checked. And so we get out of the terminal, and we're looking at the signs, and there's one that says international baggage, and there's one that says domestic, and we're like, all right, well, domestic. So we go downstairs, and there's a subway train. Right. And so I was perfectly content to wait on the train, but there were a lot of people, and she said, why don't we just walk? And I said,
that's a bad idea.
Yeah, well, I said, well, if there's a train,
there's a reason.
Right. And, but then I saw, they had those people movers like, Universal Studios Florida has, where it's
all the
it's a sideways escalator. Yeah. I think that's the only one I've ever seen you've done more traveling than me, but that's the only one I've ever seen in an airport.
Oh, okay.
But they had that there, so I was like, maybe it'll be fine. So,
nope.
4 stops later, at least say a mile and a half, we're walking and a pilot sees us, walks over and goes, are y'all looking for the baggage? And we were like, yeah. And he goes, all right, 2 stops down, or go around the corner, and there's going to be a little spot there where they'll pick you up on a train. Go 2 stops down. And I was like, there's about 50 people in this area right here. Why did we look that pathetic that he felt the need to single us out? I was
probably had that lost tourist look.
Oh, we did. So we got on the train, went 2 stops down, and
the last time I was in the airport too, I was like, because I'm used to the train in Pittsburgh International, and I get down to the train, I'm looking around going, I don't even know where the hell I'm at. It's like, is this right? Because the signs are a little confusing for baggage. When you get down to the train, the signs look like you need to go past the train, back up the other side of the steps, and keep going. So I'm like, am I supposed to be down here? So I go back up the stairs, and I actually had to stop and ask somebody. I was like, am I doing the right thing? He's like, yeah, you gotta take the train. It's like, that's the only way to get the baggage correctly is take the train. I'm like, okay, I'm taking the train. It's a wicked train. It really, and you rode it, so it's like it.
I mean, it felt like the subways in New York, honestly.
It actually, at least there's more seating on the subways in New York.
Well, certainly. I'm just saying, like it was a little dingy and all that, but that's fine.
And then did the creepy voice come on and go, this train is departing for Concourse A. Because my train voice was warped. It was like the tape was screwed up in it. Because it started off like a nice, pleasant lady's voice, and then turned demonic. So it was A, B, C. It's like, oh shit, I went off this train.
No, thankfully that did not happen.
Everybody on the train just kind of looked at each other like, all right, this is how a horror film starts. It was like, okay, I'm only going one stop. I'm getting off. Fuck this. So, but yeah.
Well, so we went and got our baggage. We had a hell of a time finding a bathroom, and then Josh picked us up.
Just use random people's cups. They leave laying around. Just pee in the cup, walk away.
This is why I don't travel with you, just so you know.
It's fun, actually. And then, every once in a while you get the good cup, and it's like, it's actually being used, and it's a big fun laugh. Everybody's laughing. It's a good time.
So moving on. So we got stuck in traffic for about an hour trying to get out of Atlanta, and then we had another, I think, 3.5 hours, something like that. And, thankfully, the baby actually did pretty well up until I think we got to Chattanooga, and she kind of freaked out. And
that's why I don't travel with babies.
Well, also you don't have one, so it's,
I won't even.
It's a little easier.
Other babies, I don't even pack them. I leave them alone.
Right, you don't steal babies. That's good.
Yeah.
The MHOG Podcast, we don't steal babies.
I found out that always ends badly. So
again, right? Yeah. So
lesson learned.
So like I basically had a whole day of travel on Thursday, and then Friday.
Now you know what it's like every time I come down there.
Oh well, yeah. Friday, well, but I mean, you didn't have to drive for 4 hours after.
I've driven from Savannah to Jacksonville Airport to go from Jacksonville to Atlanta to New Orleans.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, it sucks.
Right. Okay. Well, fair enough. So Friday we went to Gatlinburg for a little bit. I went to the Cooter Museum.
Wow, that's where they keep all the cooters. Yeah. Nice.
No, I'd seen this before. I knew there was one in Nashville.
It's kind of gross if you think about it. I mean, who donates those? I don't understand.
It's a mom and pop museum dedicated.
Oh, it's even worse.
Dedicated to the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, it's a Dukes of Hazzard museum.
Yes. It's called Cooters.
Nice. Not so much.
I know they had one in Nashville. I'm sure they have other ones, which I find interesting because the Dukes of Hazzard, if I remember right, is set in Georgia.
Yeah, it's in Georgia.
So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have a museum dedicated to it in Tennessee, much less multiple ones. But, it's pretty cool. And they have a little, I guess they bought or built a, a Dodge Charger set up to look like the General Lee, and you can pay $5 to take a picture next to it. And,
okay.
And they also have, they have a little indoor mini golf course.
Because that is directly linked to the Dukes of Hazzard TV show. They were all over the mini putt. Frickin' Bo and Luke Duke, mini putt freaks.
They also had a little go-kart racing section, like they had a little park where you go race. It was really strange, but I bought a T-shirt.
Sure you did, because you have to at that point.
I absolutely had to. I actually had to talk myself out of buying it too.
What was the name of the mini putt? I need to know. Did it have a name?
No, it was just the Cooter mini golf.
Cooter's putt?
Yeah.
Putt, is that a queef?
You're terrible. So,
oh, Jesus.
We went to a ton of moonshine distilleries.
Of course.
Because the thing is, and I've told people this a few times since I've been back. So down here, I don't know if they probably have it in Savannah too. There's this whole thing of fake absinthe. Real absinthe is illegal in the United States, but people sell absinthe because it's a version, it's a very, very toned down, watered down version of absinthe.
What made absinthe illegal in the United States?
Well, it was psychotropic, right?
Well, it was the usage of wormwood. Wormwood in and of itself is psychotropic. It has some crazy effects. Now, what they're selling as absinthe a lot of times is actually more of a form of Benedictine, which is it has wormwood in it, but it doesn't fall under the absinthe law. So they use that and basically spice it with the black anise flavor to give it that absinthe more kick to it. But basically, what they're selling is Benedictine.
Okay.
Just to let you know.
Well,
fun fact.
But either way, it's not real absinthe. They just call it that. But
if you use Benedictine, you can get the same effect because it still has wormwood in it, and it is freaky. It's awesome.
Oh. Okay. Well, either way. Well, up in the mountains of Tennessee, they have fake moonshine. Like it's again.
I have fake moonshine.
Well, it's a version of it. It's not that it's not moonshine. It's just that like real moonshine's like drinking gasoline. You know.
Well, I mean, you can have rock gut shine, but there were very good versions of moonshine. It just depends on how it's distilled. I mean, you can have it triple distill it like a lot of liquors today, and it would be just fine. I mean, it would come out more like a little bit bitey vodka. Is basically how it would come out, like a corn vodka.
If only you use your powers to help mankind.
If you drink it, I know it.
Well, so there's moonshine distilleries all through the mountains. I went to personally 5 of them because the people we were with were really into it.
Did you get hammered?
No, they do offer you the free samples, which are like little thimblefuls of different flavors. And I mean, literally different flavors like peach. There was one called electric lemonade that was blue.
Mm-hmm. The weird ones like that, I think as much as I get is like apple pie. That's a kind of a cool
There
one.
was an apple pie that I drank. It didn't taste like apple at all.
Oh, okay. The one I did tasted a lot like I had the cinnamon kick to it.
That was the thing. They had cinnamon in it. It tasted more like cinnamon.
Okay. Well, it wasn't bad. I don't mind that, but I'm kind of a purist.
I'm sure you are. So, but I actually got kind of sick by the 5th, cause the smell, like at some point I was just like, Jesus, like it all smells the same. I don't know why y'all need to keep going into them. But
you just don't have a palate for it. I mean, and that's not a bad thing. It's probably a good thing. I mean, some people, I mean, if they're, they're conditioned. Like I consider myself an athlete when it comes to it. And, it's taken years of conditioning and
that's it. You're not an alcoholic. You're LeBron James. I got you.
Basically, but I am of the tumbler and rock is what I like to call it, which is fancy for saying glass and ice.
All right. So I went to a lot of
business.
I went to a lot of distilleries, and it was all really just seeing, Pigeon Forge and all that, and just looking around. We had a good time.
Dollywood?
Huh?
You went to Dollywood, right?
No, I wanted to, but no one else did. I wanted to go to.
I do not want to go to Dollywood. It's awesome.
I don't know. I wanted to go to the water park.
Yeah, the water park's awesome.
Oh wait! I take that back. Take it back. No, that was Friday. Yeah, it was Friday. And then Saturday, I went whitewater rafting, which was an all-day affair. And then later that night... okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. And we later that night, we went back into Pigeon Forge, because we were out... we were literally in the mountains of... I think they call it Sevierville. It's actually spelled like Sevierville. And we...
spent a lot of time up there.
Well, I don't know if you've seen this, but they built. So I don't know who built this, but I suspect it's the same investment group that have been building the. Oh damn it! Sorry. I suspect it's the same investment group that's been building the Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville hotels and casinos. Because so there's this place called the Island. And the first thing you see is the Jimmy Buffett Hotel and Casino. There's a Ferris wheel. Paula Deen built a huge restaurant out there.
Of course she did.
Okay. I don't even know where to go after that. We went out there because they wanted to stop at one last moonshine distillery, and there's a big one out there.
Wait.
What?
Did somebody have an idea?
No, that's... Oh. Laddie's texting me about Donald Trump of all things. So, but they built a big moonshine distillery out there, and that one's open like till late hours.
Right.
So this place called the Island is incredible. Like, first of all, so they were hanging out at the Moonshine Distillery, and they're playing country music, and, you know, so I'm all into it, you know, like, they was playing a bunch of songs that I love, and I'm sitting there, and, then I decided to go walk around, because the thing, like I said, like, I'm not into the alcohol, so I'm not, you know, I'm not looking at the, you know,
Well, how are you going to meet yourself a nice woman if you don't drink some alcohol?
So I started walking around, and all of a sudden I hear bluegrass music, and I walk outside, and there's a bluegrass bland, bluegrass.
Wow.
I'm sick. Leave me alone. There's a bluegrass band playing. Like they apparently like they play sets from like 6 to 11 p.m. on Saturdays, and there's like all these seats out there. It's like a little mini theater,
yep, like a little amphitheater
for live music, and it was like I sat out there for a good, I'd say 20 minutes just watching them, just really impressed. I was gonna buy one of their CDs, but they were charging like $20, and I only had so much cash on me. I didn't want to spend it on that, you know, like because I thought I
don't want to support the arts. I understand.
Well, I don't know. I'm used to our friends that like, you know, they charge like $7 to $10 for their CDs, not 20, like it's Camelot in 1993, you know. But I had nothing against it. But again, I just didn't have the cash to be tossing that out.
Oh, I got you.
So, and then like they paused for a minute because they have this. You ever seen the fountain show at the Bellagio out in Vegas? They had a little fountain show.
I know exactly where you're talking about. I was there when it opened.
Okay.
It's very cool.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And I was actually kind of lamenting the fact that, you know, New Orleans has nothing even close to that. And it really should, you know. I think building things like that, and, you know, maybe not every state, but, you know, I'm sure like someplace like Tybee Island out in Savannah, you know, like that, sure. They could use something similar to that, you know.
Yeah, we're just lucky that they're, you know, not going up on parking this year.
Oh, well, there you go.
Parking Nazis.
So I was a little disappointed that we didn't find that until like, you know, 10 o'clock at night on Saturday, and then Sunday we had to clean up the cabin, lock everything up, and then head back to. You know, they dropped me off in Atlanta, and I wanted to tell this story because this is fun. So my cousin Carrie lives in Powder Springs, Georgia, which is one of the outer rings of Atlanta. And so they dropped me off at the airport, and I go immediately to go rent a car. And normally I rent from Enterprise or Budget or something like that, but all those lines seemed busy, and I saw National only had like 2 people in line, so I was like, oh, I'll just go get it. I mean, I'm renting it for 6 hours to go visit my cousin. Because my flight's at 10 p.m. and it's like 2 p.m. when I got there.
Right.
So I walked up to the desk, and the woman asked me for my ID, tells me how, you know, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm just renting it for 6 hours. And I'm kind of hoping that she'll be like, oh, well, you know, like there's a reduced rate if you only need to rent it for half a day. Of course there's not. Not her fault, but whatever. So I'm like, well, look, I don't have my insurance card on me, but I do have a copy of it on my cell phone. I have a picture of it. Is that fine? She's like, oh, I don't need that. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
All right, you know. And so like she got me done quick as can be. And then told me where to go, and so I went to the little parking lot where they have, because they have this multi-level parking structure where each of the different car companies are. And so I walk over up to the little office, the glass office that says National on it, and there's nobody there. And so a parking attendant with like a bright orange, you know, vest walks by me and goes, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, what?
Typical Atlanta.
Right. I was like, what? And he kept walking. I was like, all right. So then a well-dressed young lady walked over to me and asked for my paperwork, and I showed it to her. She's like, all right, baby. Well, look, you see that black Toyota SUV over there in the distance? I was like, yeah. She's like, all right, go towards that and then take a right. And there's a little black car with the keys in it. That one's yours. And I went, a little black car. I was like, oh. And I thought, well, I guess maybe, like, it'll be pretty obvious when I get out there, you know, which little black car she's talking about. So I started walking over there, and there's no little black car. Like, there's not. Like, there's like a black Toyota Camry, but I'm like, nah, that's a full-size sedan. I was like, that's definitely
not. Don't analyze it. Did you check the door? You're just supposed to start pulling door handles.
Well, what I started wondering was, I was like, oh, no, they're all unlocked. They all had the keys in them.
Oh, okay.
I started wondering, I was like, could I just, like, take a Camaro? Like, are they this, like, loosey-goosey with what they have? You know, and I almost did, but I was like, you know. So then I saw another parking attendant, and I said, and she was like, can I help you, sir? And she didn't really look like she wanted to help me, but at least she asked, you know, and I was like, yeah, you know, I told her my predicament, and she was like, oh, I don't know, you're going to have to go find her. And I was like, all right. So I start walking back, I see her, and I was like, ma'am, there's no black car over there. She was like, all right, well, I'll tell you what, I'll take you over. I'll show it to you. I'll take you to your car. And I was thinking, yeah, maybe you should have done that in the first place.
Wasting my time.
Seems like that would have been like a simpler method of accomplishing our goals. So she takes me over and she goes, you see that red car over there? I was like, yeah. She was like, oh, that's yours. And I'm like,
you told me it was a black car.
Exactly. I was like, what? What? You're not colorblind because you figured it out, but you know, like, what? You know, so, I said, she's like, all right, so just get in the car and just pull up to that booth over there and, you know, they'll check you out. And I was like, oh, so they're going to do the inspection there? And she goes, yeah. I was like,
wow.
Okay.
That's why I don't rent from National.
Right. Well, so I pull up to the booth. The girl asked me for my ID and one or two other things, and she goes, sign here. So I signed, and she's like, all right, you're free to go. And I was like, okay, but, like, aren't you going to do the inspection? She was like,
we don't do this.
So she pulls out the little thing that tells you how big the dents have to be, and she's like, you're looking for something this big and this small. If you want to look at it, you can look and see if there's anything. And I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, what the fuck? What kind of no offense, but Mickey Mouse operation is this? Like, are you serious? So I start looking around, and bear in mind, even though it's daylight, we're in the middle of like a parking structure, so it's not easy to see dents if you're not, if you don't have a light on it. So like, I'm checking over the thing, and then this guy in a full size, like, Ford F-250 pulls up behind me. He's got his family in the truck. And he looks pissed off, like, cause he's behind me. And I'm like, look, dude, what the fuck do you want from me? Like, I'm expecting the fucking vehicle, like, you know. So the guy, like, pulls away. And finally I got annoyed. I was just like, all right, fuck it.
You know what you do? Cause that happened to me before, is they gave me this, and I did this. They did the same thing to me at National. This was years ago. I guess it's not just there, it's everywhere. Cause this happened in, I think, Ohio or something, but, and I was looking at the car, and they were just looking like I'm wasting their time. So all I did was circle the car. I just circled, because, you know, there's a picture of a car on it.
Right,
You're supposed to circle the areas where the dents are. I just looked, I went, here you go. I circled the car. That way I was covered. If I came back and it was effed up, I could just say, I circled the damn dent.
Well, she didn't even give me anything to circle. She just told me to go look for it, and then I guess we would have gotten a plan B if I'd found something. But. Oh,
the plan B pill, yeah. Well, that's a weird parting gift.
So I got in the car, and I was just like, fuck it, and I pulled off, and then it took me forever to get. There was all kinds of construction, so it took me forever to get to my cousins. And,
hate Atlanta.
And then I got back pretty quickly because it was really just leaving that was a problem. But I gave myself about 2 hours, including dropping off the car, and that all went pretty quickly, you know. But you still have to take like the train to get to the regular terminal. And I thought there would be two separate terminals, but I got dropped off in the same area as the baggage claim that I left in. So then I got really confused. And then there's like some very vague signs. So
exactly.
So I found where I was supposed to be, but it was still unclear. And when I tell you, I spent like easily an hour and like 15 minutes in line. I was seriously worried that I was going to miss. I've never missed a flight before. I was seriously worried I was going to miss my flight.
Oh.
And you know, like if you spend, like even though like they tell you give yourself 2 hours, if you miss your flight, they're just going to tell you, well, you got to buy a new ticket. They're not going to say, oh, we understand that you had to wait in line for 2 hours or whatever it is, you know. Wow. So it was pretty nuts. And I got home. Oh, actually, before I got on the plane and they're like, yeah, folks, you might have noticed we should have taken off by now. We can't. The one of the engines isn't working.
Yeah, that happens to me every time.
So they're trying to fix it, and I was just like, are you about to tell me I need to get the fuck off this plane? Because
the time before last, it might have been 3 flights ago when I came down to see y'all. They made me transfer planes 12 times. I was like, I didn't realize there were 12 planes at this airport. I had to get off and get on another plane. Get off and get another plane. I was so pissed off. I was supposed to be in Savannah by, I think, 8:30 at night. I got in at 2:30 in the morning the next day. That's the reason I almost got arrested at this local airport, because I got pissed off at the fucking people. Then they lost my luggage. Oh my God, I was so angry. I fucking hulked. I hulked out in baggage claim. I was throwing luggage. They had to call security. Amy was like, calm down. I was like, I'm going to fucking kill somebody. They made me watch the A-Team movie. You know?
What?
That was my part. It was like, we're so sorry we had to do this to you. Here, watch the A-Team movie. You know, the one with the awful remake A-Team movie? And then I was like,
I didn't hate that, but okay. Hey, yeah.
Well, you'll hate it when I tell you this story. That was on the first flight. The 4th flight. Don't worry. It's okay. You'll feel better. Here, watch the A-Team movie. I just watched it. I get the 10th transfer. We're so sorry for the inconvenience, sir. Here, let's get you something to drink. Do you like Coke? Sure. Here, let's put on the A-Team movie. Son of a bitch! I was so mad. I never want to see that movie again.
Also, this is why I don't travel with you.
I'm a pleasure to travel with. It's just the world around me sucks.
Well, I won't take that risk, but no. So it was an interesting flight. Like we hit some serious turbulence, so I was getting like kind of freaked out. But yeah, and then as soon as I got home, I got sick the next day. So
that sucks, dude.
And here I am. But if anybody's out looking for like vacation in the Smokies, I do recommend go. You know, they have done a lot with the like I guess they've decided to combine the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Sevierville area into sort of one long, you know, because Gatlinburg's really nice, but it's really just one long strip of commercial shit. Gatlinburg
has one of the best haunted houses you'll ever go to.
Like actual haunted houses, or like a haunted house?
Like a haunted house, like a fun.
Okay.
It was actually converted. It's a beautiful Victorian home, but it also takes up almost a full city block, and it's off the beaten path. But you do get to go into the home, and they're actual homes. They all just kind of link together. But it's a haunted house, and it's hysterical. And they also have. Did you do Hillbilly Golf?
No, I can't say that I did.
Hillbilly Golf is a crazy, insane miniature golf course that every hole is uphill. It sucks. It takes forever. And, I mean, every shot, you have to go uphill. You're like, are you kidding me? Picture an average miniature golf course and put it on like a 90-degree angle up. You're like, oh, my God. You'll hit that ball like 50 times just trying to get up the first hole. It's fun, though. It's a good time. So, yay.
Well, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we close this one out?
I want to leave everybody with a riddle.
Oh, God.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here it is. There's a farm. On the farm are 30 cows, 28 chickens. Who didn't?
All right, folks, that'll do it for tonight. Remember, if you're in Biloxi or Ocean Springs, Mississippi, or Gulfport, you know, down in Ocean Springs at Crooked Letter Brewery, you can see our comedy show, and then Saturday night over at the Twist of Lime. For the MHOG Podcast, I've been Adam.
I'm Rum.
Yeah, and who did? Keep it didn't. How about that?
Metal. You get what you want. You get what you deserve.